sounds like a body being dragged outside.
Ugh. Welcome to the Big Dane Podcast. I'm your host, Dana Trimborn, and in this podcast, find the connection in the weird experiences that we all share. Listen to new episodes on Tuesdays wherever you get your podcasts. Hey friends, in this week's episode, I'm chatting with Bob Cahill. Listen to his weird and interesting neighbor stories. Find out what happens next when Bob finds a half-burnt pizza box with the Ouija board inscribed with black magic marker. Welcome, Bob.
How are you? So excited to be on the show finally.
I'm doing well, and yes, I'm excited to have you on.
So what's going on with the Big Dane Podcast? I really like your hat. Your hat's awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, for the listeners, I got a custom hat that has my logo on the front. So I recently got that. So I'm super jazzed to wear it all the time. But the podcast, we're going to get weird. And before we get a little weird, just tell the listeners a little bit about yourself, who you are, where you're from.
Okay, my name's Bob Cahill. I grew up in Conshy. I now reside in the lovely village of Plymouth Meeting, where I tend to my family of 3. I have 2 dogs, which I love very much. My dogs' names are Lucy and Russell. Russell Hammond Cahill. He's named after the lovely guitar player and Almost Famous, and he kind of resembles him in dog form. I'm an artist, former musician, and filmmaker, I guess you could say.
Wow, it's a lot. You just unloaded a bunch of information.
Yeah, I also host a show called the Bobcast, so I've been talking for a while, and it's just it's like an art form in a way.
It's like a preset in your head.
Totally, yeah.
Wonderful. So just to get to know you a little bit better, let's do some of those weird questions that you checked off for me. Yep. What kind of weird superstitions do you have?
Okay, so here's the number 1 superstition I got, and I start every day off with this superstition because it's this: a man or woman or them is as useless as their workday if they don't make their bed. So I have to make my bed. You start the day off right if you make your bed. There's something to be said when you come home and it's made. I'm sitting on my bed right now. It's made from hours ago. I feel good about that. Once I get into my pajamas, get into the bed, I feel good. So it's a major superstition that I think I've done since I was 25. I'm 43 now.
Wow.
Yeah.
So during that time span, was there a point where you didn't make the bed and then something happened?
Yeah, totally, without a doubt. I mean, sometimes you say, for instance, you don't make it home to your house. When you're younger, you go on all these adventures. You might sleep in the car. You might be a big mess. You know what I mean? The next day, you're a mess. So in other words, yes, most of the time when you are away from your house, it's just never going to be good because you probably have been drinking or partying or something like that, or God forbid you're lost, and that's no good. I can't think of a plausible scenario where I'd wake up not in a good place, in a great mood.
Yeah.
Maybe when I was younger.
Yeah, I feel like I need to get better about making the bed. All right, well, let's just get into your weird neighbor story. So let's hear from the top, Bob.
All right, so I mean, there's many different ones, but we're talking about this one with the Ouija board. So yeah. I lived at this place called the Regatta. It was in Norristown, and my wife and I were not yet married, and it was the type of joint where you had to go in there and you had to press some numbers to see if I was home. And the cool thing was sometimes I was home and I wouldn't answer the door for certain people, and I missed that. You know what I mean? Because now they know my car is here at my house. It's not fun.
Right.
So back to the rental story. For the longest time, we'd have nobody upstairs, none. Nobody was there. It was just me and my girlfriend, and that was it. And then these people moved in, and when they moved in, we thought, oh no, first off, we could hear everything upstairs, like everything, breathing, like flossing. Like if like that
Floss.
sound when like you hit the gum. I forget what it's called.
Yeah, like a. I'm gonna do like a.
There's a name for it,
But
but
that's
it's like
not it.
a little
There's a
thing
name
there.
for it.
Yeah, because I listen to Smartless. It's my favorite podcast, and Jason Bateman loves to talk about cleaning his teeth, and I forget what he calls it, but basically it was so thin I could hear everything. And then like
Wow.
I try to go upstairs and talk to them and be like, hey, I can hear you guys fighting. I can hear like all like the cuss words and just like you're angry with each other. Like, they would smash like open and close like like cabinets and just make noise for the sake of making noise to get on each other's nerves. And then at one point they would fill the tub up and then drain the tub, then fill the tub up, drain
Was
the tub.
this
Like it was just ongoing like torture, right? So
so was that repetitive? Like something you kind of notice like once a week? Like, all right, here we go again. Like
every day, every night. So like at that time too, I
with the
worked at
tub? Every day with the
so yeah, so
tub?
I worked at Nordstrom at that time in the King of Prussia Mall. So I was working like late, and like girlfriend would text me at the time, Teresa, and she'd be like, "He's at it again. What's he doing?" And like like they had no kids, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
so we don't know what was going on, And then like they got drunk one night and we got like into a spat and things didn't get violent, but like there was lots of words exchanged and stuff like that. I was young and I regret it. And then they start to mess with us. They start leaving eggs outside of our door. I would go outside on my patio, there'd be eggs crushed, right, and just weird stuff start happening. And
What?
and then like what was the one thing that happened? Oh
So
yeah, okay. So one time I come home and like you could like approach my apartment from like behind,
okay,
like
yeah.
you can come up the trail. I come up the trail. First off, I noticed that somebody's been here because there's like it just wasn't the way I left it. I knew. And then to the right, like right down the corner by like where you would keep the garden stuff, was this like tiny little teacup. It scared me, man.
Ew, it's kind of creepy. So that was when you're saying like things looked a little different. That's still on the outside of your apartment, not the inside, right?
Never in
That's what
the
you're saying.
inside, but I mean,
Yeah.
like the inside, the torture would continue with the noises, and then they would, continue to fight. And we went and tried to break our lease, couldn't break our lease, and then like when you can't sleep because other people are like filling the bathtub up, or they would throw late night parties that and we'd
Yeah.
party too, but these were parties that were like I think they were like Tuesday nights, Wednesday nights, just
Yeah, like
torture, like
during the
everything you think.
week.
Sound like they were dropping bowling balls from the ceiling, you know what I mean, for fun, just to torture us,
Gosh. So
And
you were
then
on the first floor, they were on the
yes,
second floor.
yeah.
Okay.
So
Was there
any
anyone like on either side of you too, or it
the
was
place
just
was
kind
so
of
big that
okay?
the like across from my place was just the exit. The other one was so far away that it wasn't even like a factor, and that place was also empty
Okay.
for a while because the place it was a expensive place to rent. So then like we're coming home from the boathouse one night, and then like we come up on the door, and like there's like this like Domino's pizza box, and like like when it just looked like it had been like burned around the edges, and
Uh-huh.
somebody had like scribbled like a Ouija board on it, and like they circled
Ew.
the letters no, the word no on the Ouija board, and shortly thereafter we moved out. But I mean, I wonder sometimes like because I'm older now, and if I saw this person, I would just try to give him a hug. Because it was like we were young, this is like 15 years ago, no children in play yet. Like I had, you know what I mean? Like I was just a different person, but like I mean, like I kind of went crazy there towards the end there because it was like there's nothing worse than when you're living on the first floor above somebody and you're at their mercy and you still have to pay the same amount of money to rent.
Yeah.
So renting, I will never do again in my life. I'll never lease a car. I'll never do anything. I have to own everything. Like Leonardo DiCaprio says in Once Upon a Time, you don't rent here. You live here in Los Angeles when you own real estate. And that's how I feel.
What if you bought like a duplex? Then
Yeah.
what?
I would like to have a farm. I mean, like duplex.
No, I'm
I
just thinking with someone next door or, above or, below
I mean,
you.
here's the thing is that you can't pick your neighbors. I've also said to like some
Yeah.
people in my circle, like, well, how come there's no real estate company? And this is free out there. If anybody's got the money or resource, you can have this one. But I mean, I think this should be a service. How come there's nothing where you can't like look at a property, Zillow ain't got this. All those other
Mm-hmm.
websites. Like you look at the property and then you say, okay, I want to know all the criminal activity that's gone around during the time, all the noise complaints that have happened. Like I want all that public records. I want all that knowledge. I want to know what's going on with this guy right over here. So my neighbors like are like literally like 30
Like
feet
an
away.
arm's
Yeah,
length. Yeah.
my head rests right here to sleep while his head rests to sleep right over there. We are both
Yeah.
consciously dreaming at the same
Yeah.
time. Okay? We don't know that much about each other though. You know? It's weird.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, I mean, that's a lot. And how long was your lease at the time? Was it
It was a year one.
it was a
And
year.
then yeah, so like we had to write it out because there was no choice in the matter.
So you couldn't like they wouldn't even let you
You would
like
take a penalty and we couldn't take the penalty at the time.
because it's probably like super
But
expensive.
then it
Yeah.
also goes on your credit and then you're just like, you know what I mean? Like I had bad credit from when I was like 24 till like 30 and like I don't even use credit no more. I have credit cards, but I just mayonnaise jar them and never see them again. You know what I mean? Just I pay off my Kohl's bill now. That's it.
Coles.
I love Kohl's.
But yeah, to think back, like, because because it was so long ago that who knows what was actually going on, like if it was like mental health issues or like, but
Yep.
when you're in the moment and something has happened to you that's affecting how you're sleeping and so forth, you don't really think about the extra details of what could perhaps be going on with
I wonder.
some neighbors.
I wonder about the bathtub above all things. What was going on in there?
Yeah. Well,
Right?
I'm
Baptism.
surprised like there wasn't an incident where like maybe they left it on and forgot to like shut it off and
They
then
had
all the
good plumbing.
water.
It was a new facility at the time. That's why
Okay.
we wanted to rent it
Okay.
because it was when they start really making them like large ceiling drywall fancy apartments with all the you know what I mean like Conshy right now has got so many of them. You know what I mean? Like I can only imagine there's so many
Yeah.
stories throughout all the apartments that are about to pop up down there.
And yeah, and then the with the pizza box,
I kept it for a while too,
did,
by the way.
did you? Did you
Yeah,
take a
like
picture of it?
well, I like by chance like I start my show off for 376 episodes on the Bobcast. I say, "Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of the Bobcast." With you as always is Bob, live in the lounge, staring at the Ouija board because I start recording in this room. This was called the lounge. It didn't have a bed back when I was, not a dad. And somebody just bought me a Ouija board that was right there, and I've said it every episode since. So
Oh wow.
the Ouija board has a special place in my heart because I mean, it's like you could, find things out if you want to.
Yeah.
I don't use it no more though because it is a form of witchcraft.
Ooh. Yeah, and like with the Ouija board too, well, the pizza box form of it, like, you're not really able to tie it back to who, like which neighbor, right? Because you're in the
No,
complex.
no, But I mean, another thing too is like that person. I just don't see like that type of artistic ability from them. So it could have been for somebody else. I
Oh,
never
yeah,
really. I
yeah.
mean, like, but yeah, I'll never forget that. And then
That's so strange.
I moved into a house and I had other like. I had one. Can I just tell one quick strange story about a neighbor thing that I just recalled? It's
Oh yeah, we
quick.
got plenty of time.
I move into the house here, okay, in Plymouth Meeting, right? I live in the valley. I got a bunch of beech trees, got a lot of leaves, right? So it's my first fall time. I don't know really what I'm doing. I've never picked up this many leaves, so I'm bagging them up in the Lowe's bags. And I do like 30 bags, you know what I mean? I'm in this backyard. I got like an acre in my backyard, right? And I have all this shit. I noticed in my backyard though, day one, that there is a lady who's got a lot of stuff. She's kind of a bit of a hoarder, right? I feel like she's going to be like out my window now that I'm talking about her. Okay, so I'm raking everything up. It's been about 5 hours, right? I feel a tap on my shoulder, and I turn around. She's there, and she's so close to my face, right? She's not like in a normal distance. She's so close. I'm frightened, and she's like, "What are you doing? What are you doing?" And I say,
I'd be like, "What are
"What do you
you
mean?
doing?"
What are you doing on my property? And she's like, "Are you crazy? Don't you know we compost here in the valley? I compost over here in my garden." And I was like, "Oh, I'm so
Oh
sorry." And like
no.
jokingly, I say to her, I was like, "Well, if you really want the bags, they'll be at the corner out here. I didn't do all this work for nothing."
Yeah, yeah.
And she's like, "Okay, okay, right." So then it's like maybe like 9:30 at night.
Okay, let's take a quick break. For a limited time only, you'll have free access to my coffee page. No, not actual coffee. This is a place for all exclusive content that won't be on my Instagram or Facebook accounts. Check out sneak peeks, behind the scenes, extra audio clips, and much more. Just have a tap on my link tree, look out for that coffee cup icon, and boom, you'll be on your way.
It's a summer, like fall night, you know what I mean? We still have the windows open, and I hear sounds like a body being dragged outside.
Oh, yeah.
And I look out the window, and she's dragging all the leaves back to her yard. And then I look out to the backyard the next morning, and all my leaves are lined up perfectly in a line at the edge of our property. And I'll never forget that. That was just really bizarre because it was and they sat there for maybe weeks, you know. And since then, we've built a privacy fence, and the hoarding has stopped for us. It has commenced.
I thought you were going to say when she was dragging the bag that it ripped and all the leaves went everywhere.
Oh, yeah. But the thing is, she's crafty, and she's also strong. She's a hoarder, and she's got so much stuff out there.
Oh, my God.
In the summertime, there would be mosquitoes everywhere because there'd just be like Tupperware, the large Walmart Tupperware things that you buy for storage. They're all over her yard. And eventually it started to it looked like a building. It was bad.
That's kind of, I don't know. That is a little strange. I mean, because I'm picturing storage containers that you would put in your house or in the basement are now just outside.
Outside, yeah. And then
that's what you're saying, right?
Yes, outside. And her garage was pivoting to the left because it was being probably crushed by what was ever in there, right? So I haven't seen it because we had a fence now for almost a couple of months.
Oh, wow.
And the other thing that's crazy, okay, first off, we call her Michael Myers because sometimes we see her, before we had the fence, she'd be out in the backyard in the dark, and I'd see just her white hair and silhouette, you know what I mean? And I'd be like, oh my God, she's back. One time, we got a tree cut down, and I cut the tree stumps so people could sit down for a campfire, right? And I had them in a circle around the campfire. And she comes up from behind me again, taps me on the shoulder. Bob, are you into pagan rituals? What is this? And I'm like, these are tree stumps for a campfire. But she was serious. She totally thought that I was into Satanism.
Oh my gosh. And this woman lives by herself?
Yeah, of course. I don't know who could marry that. But she would every now and then she would have a guy, he would show up, and my wife would say that it was her son. And I'd be like, it doesn't look like her son. But the weird thing was he would go into the backyard and he would start up a lawnmower and and he would cut 2 feet this way, 2 feet that way, and then the lawnmower would turn off. Yeah, I swear to God.
What?
Just
I
weird.
wonder, the only thing that comes to my mind is if they were trying to use up the gasoline or something.
I
like if the grass has to be cut, then noticeusly cut.
But this was not just, this was more than once. This was the same amount of time that you would probably normally cut your grass as a homeowner or a lawn person. But he would just cut. Then look, now I should have focused on the then and now. Right now, I have some very strange neighbors. Okay, this way over here. Okay, to the right, won't give addresses, won't give locations exactly, but I will tell you there is a Russian spy who lives at a house over this way. I'm sorry, Russia, okay, if you're listening about this, but we're pretty convinced here in the neighborhood. We have a community of people here who are concerned because the man does some very strange things, okay?
And he has a Russian accent, I'm guessing, or?
I have been told from his neighbor across the street that he is Russian. And and then that neighbor told me his suspicions of him working for the Kremlin or something, you know what I mean? I just thought he was this weird guy, right? But he had, during COVID, all the boxes outside, and he would meticulously wash them down. Okay, I saw many people do that. I watched a couple of things myself. But now he's still doing it, and he's wrapping the plastic bags in almost like a design going up his gutter. You know what I mean? There's a lot of bags. You know what I mean? It's like a gum tree down South Street or something like that in Philly. But he's done that, and then apparently, okay, so he has walked around the neighborhood. Anytime he sees my wife, he turns around and he walks the other way, creeps her out. She gets worried about it. And then there's another part I can't
Like
recall.
how, like, does she say like how far away? Like how close are they getting before
20
he?
feet, 20 feet before he like, but he always has his hands behind his back, keeps his head down. He probably has
Yeah.
a mental illness without a doubt. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the thing that's weird about it is that he has all of his windows open at night, right? So all the windows are open when I come home when I'm working late filming
Hmm.
something. I can see into his house from the windows, foil everywhere, everywhere, you know? And it's just weird because he also like the yard looks like the monster squad. Like it's bad. You know what I mean? Like it's scary when you walk by it. Like he hasn't trimmed any of the trees in like 10 years. Um,
Wow. So he doesn't, yeah,
dead
really
things in the front
manage the
yard.
outside of his
Yeah,
yard that well, like all the maintenance.
it doesn't bother me because we're far enough away. But I mean, yeah, I do live with some winters right now.
Hmm.
I didn't even realize how many there are.
Have you interacted with him before?
Yes, yes, I interact with everyone. I'm not scared of anybody's mental
So,
illness. I try to talk with them, and he was just
yeah.
standoffish with me and walked away. And I get it.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Some people
Okay.
they got something dark going on, but I mean, the assumption that he is that, I don't know. I mean, it's also like plays into everybody's fears too, right? With like people thinking that we're going to go to war with Russia.
Yeah.
But maybe that's what's going on. But I wish I could like have a video podcast with you so I could just take you up there and show you right now. You know
Like,
what I mean?
here we go, we're
Yeah.
inside the house.
Or no, instead of like ghost adventures, we're neighbor adventures, and we like venture
Oh,
into like
God.
strange people's houses and be like, "What is that?" You know, it could be good.
Oh, man. Yeah, that would be
They had
interesting.
a hoarders television show. I used to watch that. I mean,
I
and then it
remember
got to the point
that.
where I felt like nauseous watching it, and I was like, I can't
Oh,
do this no
yeah.
more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to picture this Russian neighbor with his like
And then all
unkept
these boxes
yard.
outside, cardboard boxes from Amazon, plastic wrapped in a just that's just bizarre, man. I mean, I imagine that the neighbors who
Like
mhm,
near, like, where do you see the boxes at? Like
scattered through the yard now. It used to be just
in the front
stacked
yard,
backyard, but like his side
backyard.
yard, and then like all through like my neighbor's yard because they blow in the wind and stuff.
Hmm.
Yeah, and then my neighbor don't like that. My neighbor like has tried to talk to him too, and he won't speak. But
Hmm.
he also we found out that he doesn't own the house. The house is own. The guy who told me first is
Oh.
he doesn't own the house, so it's somebody else who owns the house who rents it to him. But we've never seen that person, nor you know what I mean,
Of
like
course you haven't.
shady,
'Cause-
shady. I mean, I see
yeah.
landlords all the time after living here for 10 years. There's people in the backyard. They must have gone through several tenants. I mean, I knew the people who lived in the house like directly that way in the backyard. They had mold in their house. They invited me over for a poker party once. And you ever
Oh
see black
no.
mold
Yeah.
or like smell it? So like what I did
Sometimes I
was
can't always smell it, but I yeah.
yeah, that's that
Hmm.
mildewish smell, right? So like I buy in for 20 bucks and like my first hand's like not even pocket sevens. I think it was like 5, 6 like of hearts. I go all in just so I can get the hell out of there. I was like, well, I'll be back when I go to the ATM, get some more money. And I just pulled an Irish goodbye and left because it's
All right, not coming back.
so
Yeah, because
bad.
that if you're around that, like you can get really sick. I mean,
Yeah.
I
And
don't want to do
it's
that.
just disgusting. That's gross. I mean, yeah, as like a landlord, you should never do that. You know what I mean?
Did you
Like,
point it out to them while you were there,
not
or
that
like,
evening because they had just
yeah?
like moved in. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh,
and then like,
how you gonna move in with mold?
you want to know the real truth of it too? Is like she was a student that I had. I used to be a teacher at Plymouth Whitemarsh High School, and she was like an 11th, 12th grader that I had seen in classes. And her attitude at the time was like she was going to go on to like become like Malibu Barbie and like have like the dream house and everything. And then the irony of that with her living in my backyard with mold. I just wanted to like sit with it for a while. I think I mentioned it to her though. I saw a giant one, so I was like, "It's a good thing you got out of there," because eventually they moved out and they like did construction there. Thank God.
Oh, that's good. Get all the mold out.
Yeah,
Oh man, yeah, yeah. That's yeah, those are some interesting stories you got here.
yeah, I do.
So thank you so much,
Mhm.
Bob, for coming on the podcast. We really enjoyed all these weird neighbor stories. Yeah, let us know if you know any more information on your spy there.
I can come back and report every other season if you'd like, and tell you of all the strange activities. Matter of fact, I can become an agent in the field for you
There you
if you
go.
would so desire.
Yeah, let's do it. So if people want to get in touch with you, if they want to reach out, how would they go about doing so?
I'm like on all the platforms, Spotify, iTunes, all that stuff. The main website though is thebobcast.podbean.com. I've been with
Okay.
Podbean since the beginning. I love Podbean. They've been kind to me. They've given me some badges, and one time they gave me like a
Oh,
little nice
cool.
write up as a local podcaster.
Oh,
So
sweet.
shout out to Podbean here on the show. Thank you.
Oh, maybe I gotta switch to Podbean.
Which one are you on right now?
RSS.
I
It's
thought,
just called RSS.
yeah, yeah. All the platforms are great. There's so many
Yeah.
different ones. And anybody can check them out. Like Buzzsprout's really good too. They let you do some free ones for a while before they start charging you money.
Okay. Wow. All right. Well, thank you again,
Thank you.
and we'll catch everyone next week. See
Sweet.
ya.
Bye.
All right, my friends. Thanks for listening, and be sure to listen to new episodes on your preferred platform. Stay up to date with my podcast by going to my Instagram or Facebook accounts at The Big Dane Podcast. Interested in being a guest? Just go to my link tree, tap on Be a Guest, and fill out the form. All right, catch you next week.